So they went out and got Quarterman. Without further ado, one thing that JAKIB does, man, we give you a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. And here's our friend, Zander Kraus, co-host of Birds 365. He joins us. And great weekend, Zander.
Thank you, Sills. How you doing, brother? Good to be here.
Good.
What's going on, everybody in the chat?
Bro, from the weekend, or how about this, Zander? From post-Thursday, from Friday to today, give me your takeaway as they go into game week, as they take on the Ravens Friday.
Starting to get a little concerned on that defense, man. I mean, look, I know that it's camp and it's not, you're not going to sound an alarm or anything, but offense is torching these guys over and over and over again. Hurts is still just no interceptions. I think he's got 16 touchdowns through training camp here. I know it's just practice, but still, you want to see something from the defense. So I'm concerned that some of our fears, are going to be true when the season starts, that as great as Vic Fangio is, how good can you be when you don't have great players? And I think we have a lot of potential on the defense, but, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm going to call out some Big Sills bias I heard today, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they signed Shaquille Quarterman. I didn't hear who? I didn't hear nothing from Big Sills because this guy is a Miami guy. Big Sills, this guy is.
Are you suggesting that I'm biased towards the game?
Special teamer. He's never started a game in his life. He's got 30 tackles. Is his most tackles in a season. He's meh. He's meh.
Okay. How about this? He's played in more football games than Nakobe Dean has.
Oh yeah, because I think I'm Nakobe Dean's biggest.
Wait
fan,
a minute.
Right?
Well, that's the platform we're working from. You're talking about. Hey, I didn't tell you that Quarterman was some sort of Ray Lewis.
Nakobe Dean, Shaquille
this is
Quarterman,
where you are.
Same thing. Nakobe Dean, Shaquille Quarterman, whatever.
Okay, well, then let's put that into a nutshell then. You're signing a guy like that off the street, and you addressed your linebacking core in the offseason, and now you're signing a guy with 30 total tackles. Hey, Howie, awesome stuff here, man.
Yeah, the linebacker, that's my point.
Why didn't you get Peyton Wilson, like we said? Or how about the guy, I was the first guy to start barking, Edrin Cooper from A&M. Why don't you go get those guys? Both those dudes are starting on their respective teams now in Green Bay and in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. That was my point. It wasn't. I took a shot at you.
He's just taking a shit on UM because he was mad because I didn't see any Alabama guys go into the Hall of Fame over the weekend. I saw 2 Kane guys go in. How you doing? Bang! You baby.
And in a couple years, Alabama will have a bunch going in, and Miami will be in a 20-year drought of Hall of Famers, just like there are right now, because their football team has been non-existent for 20 years now.
Every year we put a guy in the Hall of Fame for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
that was our 11th.
They're all coming out of the golden age of Miami football, which is long gone, Big Sills.
We'll see after this guy from.
Anyway, the Eagles won't sign a damn linebacker. We'll see
this guy from Saskatchewan, Canada, who's running now Alabama football. What that dude does down there.
Yeah, Big Sills, I'm with you on this, brother. I love Alabama, but I have no clue what this guy's going to be. Who knows what the hell's going on with Alabama?
Let's take a little bit away from what Vic is saying here. Dude, I love what he said when he goes like this. I'm sitting in the booth. I ain't got no one next to me. All position coaches, Zander, are going to be on the field. I don't want anybody telling me what the hell they're saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I see. Dude, This guy's giving you a reality check on what coaching is really about here. Again, this is really Jim Johnson stuff.
Yeah, and John had a good point. He's like, in the modern age, a lot of coaches use that time in between plays and on the field to that's how you build relationship with your players, or that's how you get input. That's how you get advice on what to do or what's happening out there. Vic don't give a crap about any of that. He doesn't care about relationships. He doesn't care about what your advice is. He's calling the defense how he sees it from the top, and it's great stuff. I think we do have a great coordinator, so I think our defense is going to be okay. But I'm a little concerned about that linebacker position, man. That's where I started. You heard Vic today. You need good inside linebackers to have a good, successful defense today. And they have to be more than just instinctive. They have to be able to cover. They have to be able to do a lot of stuff. And we don't really have that. We're kind of banking on, I don't know what, Devin White. I mean, I think Devin White will be our best linebacker, but will he be good enough? I don't know, so we're going to see, but defense is definitely a concern. But on the optimistic side of things, I think it's great what you're hearing from the offense, man. You bring in Kellen Moore, a new coordinator. He's switching things up a lot, and Jalen Hurts has looked lights out. You're hearing Devontae Smith's name a lot now, how good he looks. Nobody can cover him at practice. The Johnny Wilson, 6'6" Johnny Wilson, the rookie wideout, is making plays in the red zone. I mean, it's good signs on the offense. So they have a chance to be a really good team this year, at least on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's the positive takeaway from camp so far.
Zander's new love child is Johnny Wilson. This is his boy, man. He wants to see him at wide receiver 3. I'm with you. No, you're 6'6". I want to utilize the mismatches.
Well, remember, Big Sills, Jalen Hurts is 6'1", and we got the Great Wall of Philly. The Great Wall of Philly. So you have a 6'6", 6'7" wide out. That makes your life a lot easier as a quarterback when you got him going over the middle instead of, I don't know, Britton Covey, who's 5'7" on a good day. That's tough. That's tough to get him the ball over that line. So I think he brings a good dynamic to the offense that we haven't had in a little bit. He's young, he's fast, he runs routes really well. If you watch his college tape, he can catch the football, which is what you need him to do. It's not like I need him to be a big rep guy. I don't need you to catch, 100 passes. I need you to catch 20, and when they're throwing you, I need you to catch them all, unlike Queasy Watkins. So I like Johnny Wilson. You're right. He might be my new love child out of this rookie class.
How about this here, man? I thought this was interesting for a guy that just got the job. Zander, remember I told everyone when Vic got the job and how fast he got the job to be DC, I said, I heard that he had a lot of say on the personnel that was going to be brought in and the type of personnel that was going to be used. How about when they asked him the question, he goes, were you involved in the Gardner-Johnson decision and coming back? He goes, yeah. At the end of the day, and he did it politically correct, he goes, it's Howie's call, but they did consult me on it. And I said, yeah, I think that's something that I wanted to have back there when it came to my defense. So that shows you right there. That coordinator, Desai, had none of that a year ago. That shows you a little bit on how much they're trusting him to fix that defense on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and I also think I think that's good GMing. I mean, do you want to hire? Yeah.
Nope.
No, I know you're not ripping. I'm just giving a point. I mean, you don't want to hire a guy and then put the wrong players in his system. I mean, right? The best chance at having success in this league is to have coaches, players as one cohesive unit where it works. So I don't think they went over the top in signing guys for Vic Fangio, but Gardner-Johnson was a good player and he fit. Okay, that makes him better than a guy who might have been a good player but didn't fit. So I like that. I think that's a good move by Howie to do that. And I think, by the way, that 3rd-round draft pick, to me, that screamed of Vic Fangio. Guy's a former safety, playing the edge, can drop into coverage. Jalix Hunt, I thought that was a Vic Fangio pick through and through.
Could it be that our offense is just that good, or we really stink on defense, is trash? Is it a question that missed me at? Okay, how about this, Marshall? I'll say this to you. It's probably a little bit of both of what you're saying, that the offense is so good and the defense is trash. But I wouldn't go to say the word trash. I would say this. When you spend $200 million on the offensive side of the ball and you got that kind of skill set people on that side of the ball versus the question marks you have on the other side of the ball, I mean, that's the result you should be getting. You're not getting patted on the back for having a $200 million offense, and you're beating a defense on that side of the ball that's filled with draft choices and free agents and trades or people that you've made movement for. I mean, you should be ahead of that. So, I mean, am I supposed to give them totally a lot of love? The offense should be doing this. I mean, Zander,
I mean, Big Marshall,
I'm not going to give kudos to something that you should be killing an inexperienced defense for.
Well, listen, I hear you have a good point. You have a good objective perspective on that. But Big Marshall does ask a good question in terms of, listen, the offense is damn good. Is it as big of an indictment on the defense as we think? I understand. I think you're right. The offense should be winning. I think they're winning at a big rate right now. I mean, they haven't even been able to intercept Jalen Hurts in its practice. So I think the offense is further along than I thought they'd be, or at least better at this point than I thought they would be. So, but Big Marshall's a good question. Is that a huge knock on D? Is it as bad as we think? We're going to find out real quick, Big Marshall, because that week 1 game in Sao Paulo, Brazil versus the Packers, that's a good passing offense. So we're going to see real quick how good this defense is.
The problem that you see, though, Zander, is tackling angles, pursuit. not wrapping up. Now, look, you're
Right.
not
Fundamental
hitting,
thing.
you're not hitting and tackling, so that is a factor. But guys getting out of the backfield and you're not staying with them and stuff, and you're like you're not in a proper coverage angle, and it just looks like they're thinking so much on what their responsibilities are that they need reps. They need a ton of them. And by the way, this game on Friday, I'm going to give you guys a little insight because you're going to play the Ravens later in the year in week 12 or 13. You ain't going to see dick on Friday.
No, yeah, I agree. People are like,
you're not going to see anything that resembles anything because both teams too, Zander. Now, you're probably going to see some of the younger players from the Eagles playing in that ball game.
No, I think it's going to be the tale of two sides. Offense, nothing. You're not going to see a single starter on offense, I don't think. Maybe one of the young linemen. Maybe Becton, maybe Steen if he's back and healthy, which I don't think he will be,
Keegan.
and maybe Cam Jurgens. No, but I'm talking about starters.
Okay.
I'm talking about starters only. You're not going to see any other starters on. You're not going to see the wide receiver. You'll see Johnny Wilson probably. You'll see the wide receiver 3 guys. No Devontae, no Smitty, no Goddard, no Hurts, no Barkley, probably no Gainwell, no Lane Johnson, no Mailata, no Dickerson. I don't think any of that. So, but defense, that's a position. There's a lot more questions there. So you could approach that differently where your starters are out there where let's get Devin White out there. Maybe not, but there's not as many set guys. The only guy who I think is a guaranteed sit on defense, a couple guys are Darius Slay, Jalen Carter, and they'll probably do Jordan Davis. I wouldn't agree with Jordan Davis, but I think they'll probably do Jordan Davis. And then Bryce Huff because they signed him to that big money, and probably Josh Sweat because he's got that injury. You don't want him to be, getting unnecessary reps before the season. So, but guys like Quinyon Mitchell, guys like Isaiah Rodgers, guys like, now Cooper DeJean won't be back, but even Reed Blankenship. Now Gardner-Johnson probably won't play.
Keely Ringo.
All the linebackers I think should at least be suited up. Keely Ringo I think will play. So I think it'll be a different story on defense, but I wouldn't expect much from our offense. It's going to be the Kenny Pickett, Tanner McKee show for sure.
And Kenny Gainwell too, probably getting a lot of reps in that game.
I don't know. Kenny Gainwell might sit, man. They're using him a lot in the passing game.
They're high on him too,
and
man.
John says he's getting more reps in the red zone passing game than Saquon is.
Wow. That says a lot there. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. We really appreciate
we're killing it today, dude. We're killing
absolutely killing it today.
We have almost 400 watching on YouTube, a couple of hundred other more on our other platforms. The people are out, baby. Phil Eagle season is almost here, and you can feel it on the channel.
One thing for sure that I heard Vic say, they're going to play a lot of single high safety. You know what that means, right? 10 yards off the ball, keep everything underneath. So, Xander, you know what people in Philly are going to be disappointed at? They're going to see a better hybrid version of Jonathan Gannon's defense that they saw in 22. So when you see a lot of guys with high percentages and completion percentage, guys with big numbers, this is all about Vic Fangio saying scoreboard. I think he's coming to the realization here a little bit. Hey, dude, got to keep him off the scoreboard. Okay. More so than statistics here. Guys are going to get their numbers early at least against this defense. Let's keep them off the scoreboard. Time of possession with our offense. That's why I think you're seeing, again, Shipley, Gainwell, Barkley. They're going to run it. They're going to screen it. They're going to do a lot of that stuff just to keep that defense off the field. So I think there's going to be a mentality going into that September 6th game against the Packers to try to win that. They win time of possession. Their chances of beating Green Bay, they go up massively.
All right. Well, here's the thing, because I think we have to balance, especially as fans, right? So this is, to the fans in the chat, obviously the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, 90% probably of you are fans of the team. You got to balance what we want versus what works. Like you bring up Gannon, and a lot of people don't like Gannon. I'll tell you what, if we had Jonathan Gannon's defense last year and those numbers, we'd have been in the Super Bowl again. We were the number 2 ranked pass defense in the NFL. We had 70 sacks, and we marched all the way to the Super Bowl and came within an earshot of beating Mahomes and Reed. I get it. I'm not a huge fan of the style of defense either. But
But isn't that today's NFL?
Exactly. And it's like, I don't want that, but I am also going to not be dumb and be like, it's what I want or bust. If it works and we can get to the number 2 or number 1 ranked pass defense in the NFL, which I don't think we're going to, but just going back to what Gannon had, shit, man, we're in a great spot. We shouldn't care too much about what we want over what works. If it works and we can get back to that, I'm all for it. And I think that's what we need. We need a defense that's viable to get us to win playoff games. That's what we need. We don't need 90s and 80s era Eagles football on defense. You just don't need it in today's NFL. We got to be great. We got to be better than we were last year. But Gannon, you bring up Gannon, shit, I'll take Gannon's defense all day right now.
If you're between 12 and 15 and your offense is even 8th, like you were a year ago, you're in the NFC title game.
Yeah.
I agree. You're in the NFC title game here. Zander, and I'm going down the list here. We've kind of already broached it a bit, but
wait, good take here by Bob. I'm going to bring it up real quick as we talk about him. Zander, Gannon put a good scheme together, but was not good with the situational stuff in red zone. Now, Bob, agreed. Will Vic Fangio be better situationally and in red zone? I believe he would be.
Yeah, me too.
So if we can replicate or be better than that defense, now I don't think you have as good of players, but if we can make that defense and then you're better situationally, better in the red zone, that's a big switch. That's a big adjustment that could mean great things for our defense. But good point, Bob.
Do you know how hard it is to coach lesser players? It is so hard to try to find a guy. Like one thing here, let's just use Dean let's use him here. One thing he's done is he can blitz. Well, I can't use him that much except for maybe 5 plays a game. Him being a coordinator as good as he is, he's got to find those right 5 plays to utilize him. And that's harder to do than just go out there and have 3-down players. Hey, Zander, everybody wants a 3-down D lineman or a 3-down linebacker or a 3-down corner, 3-down. You want 3-down players. You know how many 3-down players the Eagles have right now? Probably 5 on defense.
Yeah, not many.
That's just not going to cut it, man. They have to totally get better. And when I make this comment, dude, it's the worst linebacking core in the league right now.
I know, it's bad. Outside of linebackers, though, Big Sills, where are you on the defense in terms of depth and like where do you think they're weak right now on the defensive side of the ball?
I think the rotation is weak. I think their defensive tackle rotation, I think they need a little more help there. And I am not sold right now, Zander, on the Eagles' defensive ends or their outside linebackers setting the edge with Bryce Huff and also with Nolan Smith. I mean, are you going to put Josh Sweat out there? I heard them talking about today, and I heard it for the first time on your show, Birds 365, when they said Vic was fooling around with a 6-man defensive line. That's called a wide tackle 6. That's an old Jerry Claiborne defensive scheme where that you're just going out all pressure. But what that does too, you have one backer in the middle. That's probably going to be Bond, and you're going to have your corners and safeties back there in a slot safety. You know the pressure you put on the second level and third level guys, if you don't get home, dude, they'll pitch and catch all day with you. So I don't know you're going to see a lot of that, but I think that I like the fact that he's trying to come up with ways of creating manufactured pressure with the talent that he has on the roster. He's thinking of, he's coming up with schemes. This is something Jim Johnson used to do. He's trying to create defenses to try to fit the personnel.
Yeah, did you hear on Sunday? I don't know if you caught our Sunday show. We did a quick Sunday recap of practice on Sunday. Vic Fangio had a 6-man front.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the wide tackle 6.
Okay, that's what
it's
that's
an
called.
Old Jerry Claiborne.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's tough to stop. Now it does open you up a little bit on the back end. If you don't get home, you might be screwed.
You're dead.
Yeah, but boy, I mean, I tell you what, I think to your point though, it's a good sign that he's willing to try these new things. And you brought up the DT position. I agree with you about the edges. I'm concerned. I mean, if Bryce Huff is not going to be, the type of player that we're hoping, then we are far too thin at the edge rusher. But I would encourage you to think about that DT room. I think that room is pretty good at, because I was with you. I was thinking add a guy, maybe a Cam Hayward or somebody to get that rotation. Apparently, Moro Ojomo, I know he's not, look, fourth stringer right now.
I
Back.
don't need him to be a superstar. I need
know.
him to be a
Apparently,
player.
he has looked, and I got a beat reporter I really like, Andrew DeCecco, Inside the Birds, very smart football guy. He said he's been violent in practice, violent at the point of attack. He's a guy that could have good reps. And who's the guy? Milton Williams. You heard Vic Fangio talk about him today. I tried to trade for him when I was down in Miami. How he wanted nothing to do with him. He's your third guy. So you have Jalen Carter, who I think is we all know how talented of a player he is. Jordan Davis, who it's time for him to take that step. We're all hoping he does. He still has to do it, but I think the talent lives within him. Then you have Milton Williams, maybe more with Jomo. I mean, that's a four, and you could probably slide Brandon Graham to the inside here and there. He's a versatile guy. I think DT's is okay. It's that edge that concerns me on the front. And, the back end is concerning a little bit, but I like the potential. I would have rather them did what they did and get the young corners and have to go through growing pains than go and patch that up with another 30-plus-year-old corner. So I'm good with the back end, but you're right. If the defense doesn't get home, it's going to make their life hell. It's going to make their life miserable.
Here's the problem that you have with not having professional safeties. And I'm not throwing Gardner-Johnson in that. I'm talking about some of the other players that in the slot and also on the free that you're talking. And this is why with Justin Simmons, and hear me out on this. If your linebacking core sucks so bad, bro, you can't have both levels, one untested level back there, and your linebackers, once they get past that second level, you're in trouble, Zander.
Yeah.
I mean, your safety position right now, you see, like I said, the Eagle defense is a green apple on the tree right now. It needs to ripen. It needs to mature. And right now, that's a 3-month process for them to be able to see what they have. And Vic even said it. We're still shuffling the deck at linebacker right now. Yeah. And when you're hearing him say Isaiah Rodgers is getting the first crack at corner, I mean, bro, that's just saying to you right now that Quignon's not ready, which I told you because he's a young player. It's not unheard of. It's not a rip. And what you said also about today's NFL, bro, I don't have to have knockdown corners anymore. You can't do the hip drop tackle. You can barely hit these guys. This is more about covering deep. And that's why Rodgers might fit that style of defense and putting Quignon over in the slot. And your defense looks like this: Isaiah, Reed, CJ, and Slay. I think that's how that thing's looking and how it looks like it's going to unfold.
Yeah, I mean, that could work. The tough part about the defense is it all works together, right? I mean, if the linebackers are poor, exactly. I mean, it makes everything harder on the back end. If the linebackers suck, it makes it harder for the front to get home. If the front can't get home, the defensive backs are going to be struggling. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, we're going to see about this defense. Like I said when I started the show today, when I came on, I'm concerned about the defense. I really am. I know that we have a good offense, but there's a lot of question marks at that position, at that entire side of the football. I think we have the right guy calling it with Vic Fangio, or at least I feel good about that, with where we are at August 5th here, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want to get into another position where the defense is just so bad. You're not going to win a playoff game, So I think we'll be out of that territory, but they might need some fixing to do. They might need some duct tape and glue to get this thing to the finish line.
You'll not trade Hendrickson. He's still available. Martin, again, you're talking. Let's just go with Brian Burns. That's 2 and 5 and $20 million. Remember that, man. In the NFL, this is not recruiting off of rivals. There's a price tag to this shit. Okay, the equity of what you have on your roster. I know you have 27.7, but when you go to Duke Tobin in Cincinnati, he's going to hold you in a king's ransom to get somebody like that because they know that you might want an edge rusher. Well, you're going to have to surrender at minimum a 2 and a 5 for a guy like that. And then you're going to have to sign a guy to a 3-year contract extension because Cincinnati is not going to do that. They're not going to give T. Higgins money, and they're not going to give him money. So they're going to move off those two dudes. That's what Cincinnati does. They've got zippers on their wallets with Mike Brown. But so that's going to cost you something. Howie giving up a 2 and a 5 right now on August 5th is highly unlikely.
Yeah, I don't see it. But I mean, listen, they're going to need to invest in this defense a little bit more than they have. Now, maybe it won't come this year. You started to see it now I mean, look, they have invested in the defense. We would be lying to say they haven't. They spent 2 first-round picks on defensive tackles, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. They just spent a first on, and the first 2 picks of this draft with, a first-rounder Quinion and Cooper. But these guys all have to develop, and the patchwork on the other parts of the defense is where I think, we're low, and that's the linebackers.
Talk to him, Zander. Zander, talk to him. When you're talking about going that route and draft choices, that's a 2-3 year process in developing. That's not a 2-3 month process. These guys are going to be really good over the next 2-3 years. You know how many times you land on a Sauce Gardner or Patrick Surtain? The Eagles have not in 25 years, but they're not alone. No, they're not alone. I mean, nobody lands on corners.
I'll tell you what's not a 2-year, 3-year process is Jalen Carter. That is like landing on a Sauce Gardner. That he's that good. So
yes,
but you're right. All the other ones, yeah. I mean, look, we got to see on Quinion Mitchell. I don't expect him to be Sauce Gardner in year 1. I don't.
Love Reed, but he does not need to start. I'd put Cooper DeJean opposite of CJ. I'm going to tell you, Marshall, I don't think Cooper's going to be ready until the bye.
Yeah, and I don't
think I'm not talking about him being available. I'm talking about him being an impact on your team.
Marsh, I don't see them wanting to put him at safety, man. I think they want a cornerback. It's a more valuable position, at least from the Eagles' perspective. They value that position more. I think they want him at cornerback. I don't think they're going to put him at safety. I know he can play it. I know he's versatile. I know he's got that skill set, and everybody talks about how great that is. I just don't see them putting him at safety. I really don't. But I mean, I get why you say it, Marsh. I mean, I understand why you say it. But look, this team likes Reed Blankenship. I know a lot of fans don't. Eagles like Reed Blankenship. John says that he's not here talking about him. And look at what they did. They didn't need to go and pick up that futures contract that he had. They picked up next year's contract for him. So, forget the words, follow the actions. They like Reed Blankenship.
Juergens getting hurt concerns me 2 years in now. Juergens got hurt?
He got banged up a little bit today at the end of practice. So I
haven't heard yet. Now you got Steen and Juergens and Landon.
So Landon was back today. Landon was back today.
Okay, good.
Steen was back in he was limited, but he was back in pads. Juergens went down. Look, we don't know yet. All right. I don't think it was big. I don't think it was serious with Juergens. It might have been something as simple as a cramp. It was the end of practice. I think we're good. I'm going to get the update though for anybody looking though on that. I will give that update with Johnny Mack tonight on our special edition of Birds 365, our nighttime edition, which will be 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So if you're interested in all the injury updates, I'll get John. I'm sure he's been prodding all day to try and figure out what happened there. So I will get all the injury updates, and we'll give you an update on Cam Juergens for sure. I wouldn't be too worried about it though.
Are you concerned though with the depth of the O-line?
Yeah, I think, and the Eagles, like I just said, forget what somebody says, watch what they do. I mean, the Eagles, I think they're concerned. I mean, they bring in the Hennessy guy, they bring in, Brett Toth, and they're still signed. They signed Max Sharping. Then they added another dude last week. I can't even remember the guy's name who they added last week. They just continue to add guys to that room, and it's one of two things. The guys in the depth they don't like, and they're not looking good in practice, or one of these injuries is worse than they're letting on people believe, whether it's Dickerson or Steen. Now, they were back out there, so I don't think it's that. But I don't think they're very happy with. I don't think Stoutland's very happy with what he's seeing from guys like Matt Hennessy and Brett Toth and some of these other backup guys. Even the young guy, Trevor Keegan. I know he's a rookie, but maybe they thought he would be more of a plug and play ready guy, at least in a backup role this year. I don't think they're seeing that. So I wouldn't say I'm concerned about it because we have Jeff Stoutland, and for the last 12 years we've had a top 10 O-line every single year. So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt based on that alone. But do I feel a little bit worse about him right now than I did in years past? I'd say yes. You got to remember, we also lost Jason Kelsey. I know I'm excited for Cam Juergens, and I think he's going to be a great player too. But you don't just replace a Hall of Fame type of player that easily. And by the way, this wasn't just a guy who gave physical attributes to the game. He did a lot more for that offense. He called out defenses, called out blitzes, did a lot. He manned that offensive line. He was the leader of that entire group last year. Is Cam Jurgens going to be that? We hope. I mean, we don't know yet. So I don't want to underestimate the loss of Jason Kelce. I think that's a big one. So, like I said, I'm confident in the offensive line, but I'm not like I was last year or 2 years ago. That's for sure.
Boy, I'll tell you something, man. Now we're a couple years removed, and I'll keep reiterating it. But the loss of Isaac Seumalo and TJ and Kaiser. Kaiser is the perfect kind of player that you're talking about. If you like Reed Blankenship type players, here's a guy here that you have to have on your ball team, Zander, that got you 120 tackles, was a solid ball player, wasn't a superstar football player, but was functional in what he did with your defense, that you guys were so good in pass coverage too, and all the things that he did. And now, get this, I saw a story over the weekend that Edwards is considered one of the top 8 linebackers inside in the league now. And you fucking let the top 8 linebacker go?
Yeah.
I mean, man,
that's
just
the one that got away.
Failure.
Yeah. Epps, Eduardo brings up Marcus Epps. Yeah, but we did okay at least. Not last year. You're right. We had a terrible safety play last year. We brought in Kevin Byard, and he was flat out terrible. He was like a Robert Quinn all over again, except he was on the field more, so it hurt more. But hey, listen, man, I got to talk to the people in the chat, Big Sills. They've been blocking people, man. We got to stop. If you're a moderator, no blocking, folks.
No
Come
blocking.
on. Our man Perez, where is he at?
Get that wrench taken from you. Don't block anybody in here.
Perez has like 4 different accounts, and my man was blocked on all of them. He's got Mr. Perez. He dropped a super chat. I think this is Martin Perez. I think that's him. He's got Perez 717. Quit blocking my man Perez. All right, man?
Yeah, man. No way, man. Nobody gets blocked in here, man. I don't block a soul. I don't give wrenches out, and I don't block anybody. Okay? Because I don't want anybody thinking that I run from somebody. What do you think? I'm a person that runs from debates? Oh, wait. I won't say anymore. Okay? So let's move on here. Hey, dog.
You don't want that. Big Stars, you don't want that work again, brother.
What's that?
You don't want that work again.
No.
No.
I don't. Nor do I care.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't want to work that hard. Hang on here. How about this? Hey, dude. Nolan Smith and Bryce Huff. SOS. SOS.
Nah, Nolan's not been SOS. Bryce Huff, SOS. Bryce Huff, SOS. Nolan Smith has showed some flashes. I've heard some good things. I talked to John. He said he's not. Now, remember, they're not using him in that top role, but when he gets out there, he does look better. He's built into his NFL body a little bit more. And the one thing I think that's positive I'm hearing about Nolan Smith is his pass rush moves are a lot more polished. His fundamental play on the line looks a lot better. So I think that's a positive thing. You saw him last year. He didn't have much of that. So I don't want to say SOS on him, but you know, he was a first-round pick. I also am not going to just give him, excuses forever. He's got to be a guy, that contributes to the team this year. But Bryce Huff, man, I haven't heard much of anything on him, and what I did here was it hasn't been great. So, look, he's gonna. I'll give him at least until the games are played. I'm not gonna put him on the milk carton yet. But yeah, I'm a little concerned on Bryce Huff. I got to be honest.
Boy, this guy used a ski mask when he came in to rob the Eagles.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Hey, let's say, all right. No, come on. It's Big Sales. It's August 5th. All right.
I know, and I haven't heard his name in 2 weeks.
All right. What were we saying about camp last year in August 5th? Do you ever remember the takes that you made on August 5th of any NFL season? It's inconsequential. When the season comes, we'll know a lot more about Bryce Huff.
I think pretty much everything I've been saying about your defense, Vic's been echoing. Has I not been? Wait, what? I've been telling you
What do you want, a cookie? You want me to bake you a cookie, dude?
What I love about this is, hey, just because, look, I got a little bit of, insight here, everything. I love the fact that Vic just quantifies everything I said. How you doing, Vic? I think it's got something to do with being a Paisan.
Maybe it does.
Okay.
It's Miami.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, hey, Big Marshall, we love you, brother.
Marsh, appreciate you, bro.
Hey, dude, what do you think of a couple more here, Zander? Don't forget also, we got Angelo Cataldi.
Oh, yeah, shoot.
at the bottom at 4:30.
Flex, you saying no one blocked him. I unblocked him today on the channel, my guy. Come on. Come on. Don't play with me, Flex. Flex, I love you, bro. Don't play with me.
Sills loves being right and hates being wrong. That's not true, Andreas, because you know why? It's not cool saying this. Nakobe Dean sucks. I don't wish that on anybody. I do not. It doesn't help the Eagles. It doesn't help the kid. That's not what I'm hoping for. I do not root for failure. That's not. I actually root more for me being wrong like Lamar Jackson. I couldn't have been more wrong about a guy than what that guy did. Okay?
And let's see. Okay? Let's see. I love Lamar Jackson. Great player. But you got to win in this league. Okay? You got to win in this league. It's the same conversation I had with Dak Prescott. You got to win in this league.
Okay, wait a minute. If you're drafting a player, you're drafting Jalen over him?
I didn't say that.
I know. I'm asking a question. If you were going to draft one player or two players between these two, Jalen or Lamar, who are you taking?
Jalen or Lamar? I might take Jalen Hurts. I might take Jalen Hurts. I really might. I really might. Listen, let me look up Lamar Jackson's playoff stats here.
Oh,
I don't believe he's been great. Yeah. Passer rating is 75-7 with 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in 6 games.
So you think Jalen Hurts is a better player than Lamar Jackson?
I didn't say that. It's
you
the same.
You take him.
Do you want to go back to the same debate we just had?
No, I'm asking you, who's a better ball player?
Lamar Jackson is a more talented football player and is a more talented athlete. Yes, Lamar Jackson has more talent. Is that everything? No, it's not everything. Jalen Hurts has proven he's a winner.
Right, that's exactly. I'm wrong more than you know, guy. You kidding me?
Sills is married. He's used to being wrong.
Hey, you don't know how true that freaking.
I'm not even married, and even I know that,
dude. Absolutely, I'm never writing this bitch. Hey, what are you making of Mekhi Becton, man? I want him to win that right guard spot.
Yeah, look, me too. He's a big boy, man. And he's played.
Can he stay healthy?
Can he stay healthy? But can he play right guard on a
Yep.
Remember, this isn't, you're playing versus NFL interior linemen. You're going to play against some mean mother effers in there, and he's been every year of his career, literally back to when he was basically a child, high school. He's been a tackle. He's a tackle through and through.
Drafted out of Louisville, being a tackle.
It's not as easy to move to guard, I think, as people think.
Amen.
It's a hard switch.
Yep.
He's a big boy, and you're a big boy, Big Sills. Big boys like their space. He doesn't have that space. He's working in those confines of the line.
Traffic.
I think it's a little different. That's all I'm saying.
No, you have to have better feet in there.
You have to have better feet. You have to be a little bit more agile. You have to be more balanced because you don't have that. You can't get that leg out with that wide stance. I think it's a different position. So listen, I like Becton. I think he is going to win the job, but I think he's got a little bit of a ways to go from Stoutland to get up to speed if we think he's going to be like some, all pro right guard. I don't think he's going to be that. I think he's going to be good, but I'm curious to see how it plays out for sure.
Guys, 2 last questions for Zander here. We're going to have Angelo Cataldi at the bottom of the hour. Please hit the like button. So let me give you a little bit of this before we go here. Told the media to shut the fuck up. I'm not talking about Bradbury. I don't give a shit about you, and you don't give a shit about me. I'm a winner. I mean, hey, I got to hand it to CJ Gardner-Johnson, man. This guy got up front of that microphone, man. He commanded the room. He told them where they were going, and he went just like this to end the interview. Thank you, guys. See you. Bob Lane didn't even get a chance to pull the hook on him. He just said, I'm out. I mean,
yeah.
Do you like it or not?
Listen, I like it. I love it. But here's the thing with it. You got to be a contributor on the football field this year. This is a guy who played 2-3 games last year, So I get it. I love it.
Put the bullseye bigger on you.
And right, look. I mean, if you want to be a leader on a football team of grown men making millions of dollars, these are professionals. This isn't college. These are guys making a lot of money to play this game. When you take on a leadership role, I forget who it was. It was a former player. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Gary Cubb. I think it was either Phil Simms or Boomer Esiason, one of your guys. He said the best way to lead in this league is to play. If you play up to your abilities in this league, you will naturally be a leader. People will gravitate toward you. If you don't, it's going to be in one ear out the other. So it's one thing to rip the guys on defense for not making a play in practice or in a game when you're one of the best safeties in the league. When you're on IR in week 3, they ain't going to listen to you no more. So that's all I'll say. Look, I like it, though. I love the fire, and he's right about the comment of, we used to drool over these kind of guys, these type of leaders, Sean Taylor's, the guys he brought up, the guy you brought up, Sean Taylor, he's right about that. Media loves to we're a softer generation now. We're in a softer era of the world. And I think that's where he gets a lot of shit, but I think he's good.
It makes me think about Big Sills. Maybe that's kind of, how I communicate with folks. I'm a little sharper than what a lot of people can handle there. By the way, are you one of those guys like ESP2 giving Nick his flowers for staying out of the way? He's had a good camp. He's had a good camp because you know what? Hey, just one thing though. Hey, Nick, shut the fuck up with your answers, man. Make them more concise. Holy shit, dude.
I still can't listen to Nick.
I can't.
Dude,
I'm
doing a show over the weekend, and I'm supposed to cover the Nick thing, and I put it on. I'm like, all right, let me hear what Nick has to say. And I'm like, God, man, I can barely listen to this. I have to listen to this guy for work, and I still can barely listen to the guy. So, I just don't. Look, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt this year. I want to see what he's able to do. But no, I'm not giving him a crown on August 5th, just like I'm not going to say he's failed on August 5th. I'm not going either way. I'm still neutral on Nick. I'd like to see what he does this year, though, as the season rolls on.
Here's the official award for Jalen Hurts for not throwing a pick, and ESP saying that he's on pace to.
Oh wait, no, that was the Dak Prescott trophy.
Oh wait, we got another one then.
Okay. Oh, okay.
This one's the Vaseline.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought that was the
Vaseline for Jalen.
The Vapo rub. You got the Vapo rub. I got my
for all you Jalen Hurts lovers, here's the Vaseline for you.
I thought I recognized that other trophy as the regular season Dak Prescott Passer Award that Big Sills loves to give out every other week. Good Lord.
What's on tap tonight? I'm hearing that we are going to have a special Birds 365 tonight.
Yes, sir. 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Birds 365 will be live. Johnny Mac will be in. I'll be grilling him on what he saw today down at camp. He is our eyes and ears of the network. We try and, we don't want to just give you hearsay. When I do my recap, sometimes I'm just reading reports and I tell everybody that John is out there. John is there. He sees it. He hears it. He listens to it. He watches it. So we're going to get his take on what he's seen today. We got it a little bit on yesterday, but it wasn't a long show. So we'll dive into where we are as we head into week 3 here of camp. Preseason game coming up Friday. So should be a lot of stuff to talk to John about tonight, including his calf. We'll get an update on how his calf's doing, Sam.
Oh, man, he's doing it wounded. Very good. That's right after the program. Angelo Cataldi at the bottom of the show. We got you covered here. Zander, where are we in the likes right now, brother?
I don't know. Prince, where we at, brother? 183. Pretty good like number where we are right now. I love that. 183.
Come on, hit the like button there, guys. We appreciate it. We'd like to go into the final hour with about 220 and try to get to that 300 again. We'll see you after the program, Zander. See you also. Are you gonna be back in the morning as well?
No, we have a night show 3 days. So
that's Monday, right, Tuesday, 4 days in a week, right?
Exactly.
It's 4 days in a row, I mean.
Yeah. All right. Prince wants new requirements for wrenches. All right, Prince. I'll start by removing your wrench. How's that, big dog? All right, brother?
All right, guys. We appreciate it. Hit the like button. Keep it here. Thanks a lot, Zander.
Thanks, big.
You got it. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.